Approximately 80 years ago, an event known as the Great Woe of Shadows occurred. It began when several practitioners of the unknown and the dark arts unleashed a wave of devils, demons upon the world. Some of these practitioners became so corrupted that they sharpened their powers and their skills, and they brought every known beast, every known fiend that was from the old stories, the old legends, actually came to life and began to wreak chaos on the world until the righteous fought back and created the organization known as the Defenders from Twilight to go forth and return the balance of good to the world. History books show this took about 10 years to actually quell and restore order. But most of us know once evil is released, it's never totally vanquished. So even in this current time and day, agents of the Defenders of Twilight must go out and locate, conquer any reported evils, and restore the good. The agents that work for the organization usually have other jobs. Some of them may be retired, but most of them have other jobs, and they receive their mission in ways of letters, in ways of young couriers bringing them a note. But these agents are trained. They're trained fighters to defend the country against the foes of darkness and evil in whatever form they take. They receive the strictest training, strictest equipment, and their mental and physical abilities are honed in to perfection almost. There's several locations of this organization. No central headquarters is known to the agents. They work through various locations through larger cities that have way stations where agents can obtain supplies, obtain information if they need to. And a special badge that is made out of silver coin is given to each agent that has the depiction of a flaming sword standing against the encroaching twilight. And their motto is, "You are the defender from the encroaching twilight. Save humanity from the darkness that seeks to escape." We start out this adventure called "Oh Captain, My Captain," with a little bit of a history lesson for the agents and anyone else. Many years ago, there was a group of bandits that roamed this barony, bringing havoc and chaos to many of these small, undefended villages in the barony. The local baron became so disgusted with this and unable to stop and quell these bandits that he actually went out and hired a group of mercenaries to rout the bandits, to kill them, bring them to justice, and restore any order needed. Both sides sustained heavy casualties in a longer than anticipated war between them. One of the main mercenary captains, Captain Hellburn the Headless, he was given this name because he was known to use his axe to decapitate and behead and remove the heads of any of the known bandits in the area. After the war ended, Hellburn received a very tidy payment from the Baron, and he became known as the captain of the area as he stayed. But eventually, Hellburn himself turned to the evil ways and began raiding and pillaging the small villages himself. So the Baron had to turn to a group of professional soldiers. They came and hunted down Hellburn and his bandits. All of them were captured, sentenced to prison. Some of them were killed. Hellburn was sentenced to death at the hands of the executioner with his own axe. The Baron ordered his remains buried at the crossroads just outside a small village known as Oakhill. The Baron figured by burying Hellburn here in this unhallowed, unsanctified ground that his soul would be tormented in the afterlife forever, and he would never find any type of peace or rest for going from the good person he was to the evil person he was when the executioner took his own head. We started this adventure with our 4 agents who every year is sent to the small village of Oakhill on the anniversary of the hanging of the outlaw bandit mercenary Hellburn the Headless. Stories say that one year Hellburn will return and avenge his beheading by killing everyone in the village to obtain the peace that his soul desperately seeks. So every year, the organization sends you to this mundane task to quell any uprisings, to stop any defamation of the burial site at the crossroads, and maybe if it ever does occur, that you can quell the return of Hellburn. So it's the same time, same thing every year in the fall, late October, early November when this happens. You like going though, because you can sit there and drink, eat, talk, joke, be merry at the only tavern in the city of Oakhill known as the Oak Ax Tavern. Then after that, you turn back to your normal lives a couple days later till the organization calls you again. So we start out inside the Oak Ax Tavern. And Joe, I'm going to start with you. If you tell me who your character is, what his chosen prey is, and tell me what is his thoughts. Is this the first time he's been to Oakhill, or has he been here the year before and the year before that?
Well, my character is Edgar Stapleton. He is an infernal creatures hunter, a demon hunter. He hails from a small mining town in the mountains where mine owners, of course, being stereotypically greedy mine owners, dug too deep and disturbed forces that had been better left unstirred. And as a result, he was one of the few locals who survived, and that's what put him on the path to being a monster hunter. This is definitely not his first trip to the village of Oakhill. He's been here before, so he's familiar with the drill of coming to town on a quote unquote mission, only to wake up outside the tavern the next morning saying, "Oh well, I guess it's back to work." So
sounds perfect. As you're sitting there in the tavern on the first evening that y'all get there before the date of the anniversary, make me a saving throw and let me know if you fail.
Sure thing. And that's hang on just a second. For me. Oh, okay.
Should need a 13 or above, I think.
I actually got a 20, so I guess.
All right.
Woo!
Your sanity is still with you then.
Yay!
Crystal, we jump over to you. Tell me about who your character is, their chosen prey. Is this their first tour of duty in the village of Oakhill, or have they been here before?
I'm playing Master Orlin Wright. He's part of the Royal British Navy and definitely acts like it. Has a bit of a posh attitude about him. He dresses in a very nice blue coat as per his military requirements. And he has been to Oak Ridge before when he actually went the first year, taking it quite seriously, thinking that some kind of trouble might stir. I mean, after all, unsanctified dead, being buried in order to just be tormented forever. That's begging for someone to have a zombie apocalypse right there. Just a foe that he is all too familiar with. When a horde of undead strolled through his town when he was a child, he managed to escape them by hiding down in a cellar, and was found days later when the authorities finally came to investigate why there had been no trade routes come from the town in so long. So the first year he did take this very seriously, but once he saw like how it was really just a merry celebration, he requested that he be sent on this mission every year because just in case those undead rise. But in reality, when his captain tells him that he has an early leave request and hands him the envelope, he's glad, thinking, yes, finally, a time to go and celebrate with the commoners here. Always such a great time. They really do know how to throw a smashing party.
That sounds perfect for Orlando. Make a saving throw for me. Let me know if you fail.
All right. 6, I fell.
Go ahead and mark down 1 point of corruption then. That you have
right.
1 point of corruption from maybe some recent deal that you've had or something, but you're still not over it yet. As we go to you, Daniel, if you'll tell me about your character and maybe they're chosen prey and have they been here before to watch over Oakhill for these couple of days?
I'm playing Donna Belladonna. She's a very finely dressed, very tall, lanky woman in her mid-30s. Shallow cheeks. It looks like she doesn't eat very much, but spends all her money, it may seem, on her fashionable clothes. In fact, she is a tailor and has been to the town. She likes to get out of the city, where she normally lives, to the countryside a few times a year to get the fresh air, as being around all those fabric dyes and stuff has done not so well to her lungs. So, yeah, she's happy to be in the country.
All right, make a saving throw for me, please.
Okay. 16, success.
All right. You are not under any type of mental stress right now, as we would say. As we go to last but not least, of course, Mike, if you'll tell us about your character and their chosen prey, and have they been to Oakhill before to take this 2-day duty of seeing everything goes good?
I'm playing Klaus Vandermolen. Klaus is actually a well-to-do country gentleman, a veteran of foreign wars, decided to retire and make a name for himself, and bought several mills around the area. It happened to be a very cold night when a couple of lycanthropes came in and wiped out his family, in which he pledged his life to the defenders to see that those lycanthropes would be hunted to extinction. He has pretty much come to Oakhill every year, just as a way to get away from the busyness of the mills at the end of the season, and sort of a small vacation for him, so that he could just kind of relax a bit.
All right, perfect. Make me a saving throw, if you will.
No.
All right. Klaus also needs to mark down 1 point of corruption then, that some maybe a mission or something he's come off of lately that's kind of affected the part of his mental capacity for he's not quite over yet then. As y'all are sitting in the Oak Ax Tavern, this is what you would know about Oakhill. It's a very small village. 2 miles north of it on the main road is what's called the Crossroads, where 4 roads come in and meet and traverse off to different villages and towns. This is the area of where Hellburn himself was hung from a large tree there, and his body was buried there at the order of the Baron many, many years ago. Oakhill is mainly a small village of farmers, shepherds, tender flocks of sheep. There's one huge, massive oak tree that sits in the actual middle of the road that goes through Oakhill, where you have to go around the tree one way. On the other side of the tree sits the large tavern known as the Oak Ax, where everyone stops for a meal or a drink, or the locals come in the evening and discuss their tall tales. This is where you usually go and are afforded a room to stay for the one night, 2 days that you go every year, those that have been here before. Also, going north towards where the crossroads is, where Hellburn's gravesite is, there's a small cemetery that has a lot of the victims of the old raids that are buried here. A lot of the old family members are buried here. But unfortunately, a lot of the bandits themselves that were killed are buried in this cemetery also, that you would know. There has been vandalism occur in the cemetery. Luckily, due to y'all's coming every year and protecting the gravesite of Hellburn, nothing has quite happened at the gravesite of the captain. Nothing has happened more than, some of the people went out to the cemetery with some of the bandits and turned over some of the headstones and such there of the generations. But they call the crossing there, instead of just the crossroads, it's also known as the Cursed Crossing. It's a mostly rocky ground that always seems to have very sparse grass cover the area. Mostly thorn bushes and brambles grow in the area of where Hellburn was buried. But we start out on the first night as you've arrived that afternoon into the village. Nothing goes on the first night, of course, because the anniversary is the next day. So most of the villagers are just starting to tell their stories and things. As you find yourself in the Oak and Axe, Klaus, tell me about, is there somebody that works here or maybe one of the locals that you've become and made friends with?
Victoria, one of the older barmaids. Wouldn't call her a maid anymore, maybe a matron.
All right. What would you be doing as you've come in for the first evening, the first day of watch?
Well, I would come in and probably sit down at a table. I would have a couple of pouches with me, a small welcoming gift or whatever defenders also show up. I will lay my challenge coin out in front of me and order a beer and wait to see who else arrives. I'll call Victoria over too.
Yeah, and she comes over and gives you, just a very friendly hug, since you and her both know each other. And she looks and she gets down close and whispers in your ear, and she goes, don't worry about that first drink. It's on the house,
Oh, and I'd laugh a bit and say, oh, dear, don't worry about that. I'll take care of it. I'll take care of anything tonight. So all the drinks for this table will be on the house tonight. On my tab, though.
And she looks at you surprisingly and says, "You're such a kind-hearted man. Are you going to take care of the werewolf that jumps through the window too?"
There's no werewolves, dear. I keep telling you that. Nothing to worry about from the werewolf side.
All right. Well, if they do jump through the window, I know you'll be the first to jump to it.
Oh, and I will be at your side immediately. I'll give her a crack in the ass as she walks away.
And of course, she laughs jovially and walks off. As we jump over to Donna. Donna, you're sitting in the Oak and Axe. Is there anybody here that you know or made friends with?
Donna is quite fond of the young cleaning girl that started maybe 2 years ago. She was an orphan, and she's maybe 12 now. So when she sees her, she has prepared a small ribbon to give to her that she can put into her hair. And she does that. And then she sits and has a drink.
What would this young girl's name be?
Frida.
Frida, okay. As you're sitting and have a drink and see the agent known as Klaus smack the rear end of the Victoria, and you're speaking with your young friend, we jump over to you, Orlando. As you're sitting there in the Oak Ax, anybody you befriended here?
Orlando actually looks like he kind of has something on his mind as he's sitting having a drink with a few other maybe some guards of the town, or like just hunters or something, and he's just sort of telling them this story. Says, and that's when I saw it out on the sea, a large humanoid-like creature with the head of an octopus. And he goes to drink his drink, and he says, Fignegula, Manmafwa, Cthulhu, Rala, Wafatan. And everyone just kind of looks at him like he's weird as he just shakes his head and just downs his beer.
All right, perfect. Tell me the name of this constable that is sitting there listening to your story, that you would know he's more of a farmer, but he's been so elected as the constable of the village.
Hello? Sorry, I wouldn't unmute for a second. His name is James Albright. That's what he introduced himself to me as.
All right. Yeah, and you would know by the look of him that he's just some title that's been given to him. He probably never uses the order of law to anything. He's just pretty much a farmer, but he's been given the title of the village constable as he listens intently to your story then. Now we jump over to Edgar. Edgar, tell me about what you're doing in the tavern the first night you're there, and is anybody you befriended here?
I would have befriended.
Uh-oh, I lost you.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can now.
Okay. Yeah, Edgar would have befriended anyone who had been to the Oak Ax on a previous anniversary of Hellburn's execution. Any other member of the Defenders from Twilight. So if there are any other people here who had been here on a previous occasion, he would know them. He's of course familiar with the barkeep if the bartender was there the previous year. If not, well, he'll be familiar with them before the night's over, because he really doesn't expect a whole lot. He's very serious about his work, but he doesn't expect a whole lot to come, once again on this kind of, again, mundane, PR trip is kind of what he sees it as at this point.
Exactly. And it is the bartender and the owner of the Oak Ax that you've made friends with. What is his name? Or her name?
Her name is Sharon. Charyn. Sharon.
Perfect. Yeah, and you also would know Klaus from coming here before with Klaus, and you see about the same time of him slap the rear end of Victoria. She goes off giggling and laughing and stuff. So you know Klaus, and have maybe been on missions with him, of course, before. And then you see the other two agents, being Orlando and Donna. But you four are the chosen ones this year to do, like you say, more of what would seem just a political, let's be seen type mission that always goes smoothly. The front door of the Oak Ax burst open. You see a very large man that appears to be probably much younger than what he appears. This guy's massive. He's probably about 6'4", very barrel, wide-chested man. with very short hair and clean shaven. As he walks in, you see most of the people in the tavern look at him and just kind of. You would know this as one of the locals. Rumor is he leads a group of small-time bandits or small-time thieves. That more stories probably than more that they do, but his name is Roderick. As he walks in, you can tell he's already half drunk as he comes in. He walks up to Sharon and he goes, "Give me a bottle. I've got to get myself prepared for what must be done." You see him take the bottle and he goes off to one of the corner tables and slinks down in the corner as he eyes and watches everyone in the tavern. And then once his eyes come across you four, he just stops and looks at all four of you with just a view of just disdain of, what are you here for? You're here for nothing. He doesn't say anything, of course, but he just sits there in the corner and nurses his bottle. What would you four be doing the rest of the evening as the community starts coming in and the business starts picking up and it's getting pretty crowded in here?
I would ask Sharon what barrel-chested local yokel meant, if she knew what he meant when he said, "What must be done?" Is this related to the, considering the night, how is it related to the anniversary? Because we're here to kind of prevent desecration as well, right?
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, and when you ask Sharon about that between you and her, she nods at you and she says, "Well, knowing him, there's not a bit of telling. Of course, he's pretty liquored up before he come in here, it looks like, but knowing him, there's not a bit of telling what he has planned. That I would keep an eye on him because he may be up to no good about trying to go out to the cemetery or, God forbid, go out to the cursed crossing."
Yeah, I would certainly relay that to the rest of the order on hand.
Orlando, who has been sitting telling his latest stories from out at sea, he finally says, "Well then, no need to be dreary all night. Well, I'm sure I'll forget all about that incident by the morning," he says, and he kind of doesn't look sure about that himself as he kind of takes another drink of his beer. He says, "But this is a time for celebration. Come on now, coins out," and he'll reach into his pocket and pull out a pair of dice and begin to shake them.
Yeah, and you would see your friend, the constable known as James. He would definitely take you up on a game. Of course, not for coin, but just to bide the time in the rest of the evening. And a couple more of the local farmers would come in and join you for just a game of fun.
All right.
What about Donna and Klaus?
Donna is actually going to approach Klaus and say, "I hope that it doesn't become a rowdy night with the drunkards and all."
Yes, I think I've had one too many rowdy nights lately.
Indeed.
He said, "Stapleton, what have you heard? Besides anything of this ruffian?"
I've not seen him before.
I haven't seen him from past either. At least not that I recall.
Yes. I feel like I'd recall such a man, unless he was in a different state. I guess we'll keep an eye.
Sharon says he might very well be up to no good before the evening's out.
Oh, I
I
see.
see. Well, then I guess we have a target. Perhaps perhaps we should keep a low. Did we know of any of his compatriots that might be around? Did
You've noticed, yeah, you've noticed during this time that he's been alone over at the tables. He's just taking swig after swig out of the bottle that he purchased from the bartender, but no one else has sat down or even spoke to him.
I'll walk over.
As you approach him, Klaus, and he sees you coming, he says, "You want to have a drink with me?"
I said, "Well, what are you drinking?"
The real stuff. And he holds out probably the bottle of the most cheapest whiskey they had behind the bar.
I cough a little bit into my handkerchief and say, "Well, I'll tell you what. I will sit and enjoy your company. Forgive me if I don't drink of this liquor that you have. I have a touch of something in my lungs. I don't want to disturb it too much."
Ah, well, this will probably knock it out of you.
I said, "Yeah, and it'll knock more than that out of me." He said, "So did you come for this this anniversary?"
Well,
Hellburn?
no. Every day of that bastard is the anniversary for me. He killed a lot of my family years ago, him and his bandits, and you see, I live here.
Oh, you live here. Well, I've never seen you here before.
Well, as you see, most of the people stay away from me. I sit here and drink alone.
Said, "Well, that would be terrible. Are you expecting company, or would you like some more company?"
Pull up a chair. I'll visit a little bit before I have to go home.
So you're just going home after this?
Yeah, tomorrow's the anniversary day, so I got to be up early on the farm to keep my mind off other things.
Yep, I understand that completely. Is it so you have a wife and children?
He kicks back his feet in a chair and he leans back and he just lets out this barrelsome laughter and he goes, "Does it look like a woman would put up with me?"
Well, I guess not. Certainly I have not found one in the recent years. He said, a quiet night at home then, perhaps, after drinking.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll need to get my beauty sleep. And pardon me, but it looks like you could use some too.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Uh, good day to you, sir. Uh, if you happen to need someone to accompany you home, I'd be willing to. There are ruffians and brigands about.
When you say that, he looks at you, he looks at the bottle, and he goes, "This is the only friend I need tonight, but thank you."
He said, "Very well, very well. Suit yourself." And I'll slide him a couple copper and say, "Here, why don't you get something warm besides that rot gut to sober you up before you get home?"
Well, thank you, stranger. You're most kind. There's not too many kind people left in this world.
That is true. It is true. And I'll go back to the table. I don't think he's going to be too much of a problem.
Well, that sounds good. Perhaps it'll be a restful weekend.
Yeah. A quiet night again.
It's not raining or anything, right? It's just a cool night.
No, it's just cool. It's probably late October, early November. It's just starting to get cool in this area. It's actually pretty nice.
Yeah, I want to take a walk to the grave. I'm sensing something.
To the what's called the Curse Crossing, where Hellburn is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would know it's about 2 miles. It would take you probably, roughly 30 minutes probably to walk there.
Okay. So I say that I want to take a walk. It's a clear night, right? So I can see. I don't need.
Yeah, it's in fact you would know by probably the weather charts and stuff. You would know the anniversary tomorrow night. It will actually be a full moon.
Oh, okay. So it's nice and bright out. So I let the gentleman know. I say, I'm sensing that we should go to the site tonight. I get up and my long, coats and stuff, and I start heading towards the door.
Oh, very well. I shall go with you. I will check on Victoria and give her a few extra coin and say, please keep our friends here well watered.
Yep, and she gives you another quick hug and even a little peck on the cheek, and tells you thank you for being such a kind gentleman.
I said, I'll see you in the morning, probably.
What about Edgar and Orlando? Would they want to, knowing that Donna and Klaus are actually going to walk out to the Curse Crossing, would they want to go with them or not?
Well, maybe, but we kind of need to keep an eye on Biggin in the corner too. I'm not so sure that that his drinking and quiet night at home are going to play out that way. So, of course, if we're going to ward the gravesite, if he were going to desecrate it, he would have to come through us anyway, right?
Correct. Yep, he would have to come out the exact same path you would be taking to get to it.
Ah, well, in that case, I'll pay my tab to this point and join them for a walk. If it's only a half hour, we can make it back to the tavern probably.
Orlando is just he's gonna stay behind, and once the other three leaves, he's gonna call Victoria over and say, "Now, I don't mean to be out of the way, miss, but I don't think Klaus is gonna fall for you. I mean, you did see the way he was flirting with Big Fella over in the corner, didn't you?" And everyone around the table just kind of laughs as he says this. But he has this expression like he's kind of serious.
Yeah, she starts letting out a laugh too when you say that, and she says, "Well, that's the first time I've ever seen Roderick talk to anybody for that long."
So you're saying that they're secret lovers, then?
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I've never seen Roderick befriend anyone quite like that, especially a stranger.
Well, if they are, they are. It's no problem where I'm from. I know that that you folks around here tend to kind of have a problem with those kinds of things.
She looks at you and says, "Well, would you like to have another drink? It seems that you're winning your little game here with James and them."
Yeah, why not? Bring me another tap if you don't mind. Another one from the tap if you don't mind. And he'll slide her a like a silver for tip or whatever. I don't know how much.
Seeing that silver coin, she gives you a quick hug around the shoulders and says, "Well, thank you, darling. You're almost as kind as Klaus."
Almost.
You stay in a tavern, Orlando, with the friends and all that, and you see. We'll start with you first. You see the big guy in the corner known as Roderick. You see him eventually. He orders a plate of food, and he downs it pretty fast, very quickly, probably using the coin that was given to him by Klaus. He pays for it, and he leaves a coin on the table, and he gets up and leaves out the front door. Do you continue to stay inside the tavern, or would you want to try to tag him, or what? Tell him, I mean?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna wait about 30-ish seconds or so. And then I'll pick up my dice and say, "Well, fellas, if you don't mind, I gotta go. See about that well out back." And he'll kind of like tip his hat a little bit, and then he'll follow the guy. Like he lets him get a little bit ahead of him so that he
Right.
can follow him from a distance.
Yeah, you see James and other gentlemen you've been playing with. They all, give you a quick handshake and say they'll see you in the morning for breakfast, probably. You go outside and you see able to pick up the trail of Roderick. And you follow him, not north of town, going towards the Coast Crossing, but you follow him more of a westerly direction, just out of town. And you see him enter this very small, rough-shodden cabin just outside of the village itself. And you see him going in the little cabin. You could see a candlelight in there when he entered, but you see it go out pretty quickly. It seems to be quiet and dark in that cabin. No movement or sounds of anything.
All right, I'm gonna go kind of into stealth mode, and I'm gonna attempt to sneak up towards the cabin. And if I can't, like, if there are any windows or anything, I want to try and like sneak under a window.
Yeah, once you get up there and see you see most of the windows are open. I mean, it's a pretty, it needs a lot of repair, this cabin does. But when you get up close enough that you can hear and listen in, you hear this loud, deep snoring coming from within.
All right. So I'll nod, slightly satisfied that he's not going to do anything. And I'll begin to sort of head back to the tavern.
All right, perfect. We go back to the other group who is going out to the coast crossing, walking in the beautiful moonlight and the beautiful autumn evening with the cool weather, just enough for a light jacket, maybe, and a scarf. You all arrived. It's what's known there at the coast crossing. And sure enough, the year after year, the same large oak tree with the large branches that are still coming off of it. But Will Hellburn met his demise that day and was buried underneath there. And sure enough, you see not just because of the changing of the seasons, but you notice it's always the area there of where there's just sparse grass cover and mostly thorns and brambles and stuff that grow in this area. But you are there at the location now. It's pretty quiet.
So, Miss Belladonna, what is that you said you sensed that we needed to be out here for?
I sense there could be unrest. I'm going to head towards... Do we know exactly where the body's buried, or just kind of like in the field?
You kind of know the general area because just even though it was never marked or it was really a risen area, a risen mound, it was such shoddily done and just shallow earth but you know the area based by where that area is. It is the sparse growth of grass and stuff.
Okay. I want to go out there, and I'm going to take my, I'll open up my large jacket, and I pull out some candles and some incense, and I set up a little area there. And I'm going to try to see if I can sense the presence of any ghosts.
Yeah, roll me a d6.
Okay. 5.
No, you do your little ceremony type deal there and spend 10 minutes or so doing it, and you just get a slight breeze coming through. You don't get anything that unsettles you at all.
Huh. This is a good sign. The spirits have not risen. And I pack up my candles. I'm going to take like a little bit of holy water. Yeah, holy water. And I'm going to no, not holy water. I'm going to take a little bit of salt, and I'm going to sprinkle it like a symbol on the area, like a pentagram or whatever.
All right, you can do that, sure.
And then I'll turn around and I'll say, well, it's nice and white for a walk, anyways.
So that it was. He says, so what is this witchery that you're doing?
I was nervous that the ghosts would have risen. Sometimes ghosts leave their graves and occupy the souls of men, and then cause men to wreak havoc in their stead.
I see. I see. Well, perhaps I will leave that to you. I know nothing of men who would do that. Possessed by spirits.
Sometimes the spirits are of the liquid kind.
True.
And then I turn and walk back towards them.
As we're standing out in the field, I'll scan. Can we see far enough? I mean, it's almost a full moon, right?
Yeah, you would know. Like I say, the next night would actually be the actual full moon itself on the anniversary night.
Right. Is there enough that we could just see? Is there any activity in say anything that's adjacent to this, as far as any wood line or hedgerow?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty much open field here. There's sparse trees, like in normal pastures and stuff. There's some sparse trees, but the actual forest itself is quite a ways off. But yeah, roll me a d6.
That's a 2.
Yeah, about the time after Donna explains to you what she was doing, and you and Edgar are there and standing around. If you're fixing to try to go back to the village, you feel that breeze come across, but it unsettles you for just a second. Maybe it was something in your mind, or maybe there was something more to it, but you get an unsettled, uneasy feeling for just that quick.
Is this an old feeling that I've had with other lycanthropes around, or?
It would be. It would be something that you see. That's what you're going to attribute it to, yes.
Okay. Stapleton, Belladonna. I think there is something afoot, and I think it's something of a skin changer.
I pull out my holy symbol.
I pull out my longsword.
Nice.
Do I know a direction from which this is coming, or is it just a feeling that we're being watched right now? Or
well, it's really not a feeling of you being watched. It's just you pick up this like I say, it's so quick that you dismiss it at first. I mean, but you just get a quick uneasy feeling that there's something out there that maybe it's not centered on you, but you just get that quick feeling of something's not right out there, further out there, but you can't pick it quick enough on what's causing it.
Okay. I don't know about you, but I feel better on horseback. I think I'm going to go retrieve my horse. I would much rather have that elevation.
That's not an entirely bad idea, Klaus. But considering how much you had at the tavern, I don't know if I want you to lead my horse back out here as you bring yours. On the other hand, why don't you do that? And I'll stay with Donna here at the site.
You'll stay with Donna?
Yeah.
Well, I will take my leave of you two then.
Don't forget my horse.
Your horse.
Yes.
Miss Belladonna, do you want your mount too?
No, I'm fine. Thank you. Well, actually, if you're going to take a horse, yes, I'll take a horse. If you start chasing something, I won't be fast enough. So I'll say, yes, good sir.
On second thought.
I'll have my horse.
Very well. I'll make the way to the stables. And
Perhaps pick up the our compadre as well.
oh yes, what was his name? Wright?
Yep.
That Navy fellow.
The Navy fellow.
With the bright blue
So
coat.
I will tell him to then. And I'll make my way back to town.
Yeah, you go back to town, and you would roughly know by the time you walk back to the stable to find Orlando. It's probably roughly about 9:30 p.m. We will say, and you explain to him what's going on.
Yeah, Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright.
Yes,
I said,
I'm right here. You don't have to yell. It's okay. I just went out to, pump the well a few times.
Said, I see. We might go for a ride. Do you want to come with us? I sense a little something that seems to be a bit off.
Well, I've been drinking. I'm not sure if I should drink and ride. But what the heck? I'll go ahead and do it.
Well, Stapleton's been drinking all night, too. I wouldn't trust him on a horse either, but he wants his. So,
getting close to Stapleton
So
then.
I'll go and make sure I get all the horses.
Well, you may be interested to know that I did follow the other chap back to his residence, and seems that he's already had an early night. He was cutting quite the forest when I last heard him.
Well, that's what I anticipated. I mean, he was drinking quite heavily, and I'm sure with a meal in his belly, he won't be much problem tonight.
Not tonight. Well, let's get to the others. And I'll get my horse.
Yeah, y'all get the your horses and the horses of Donna and Edgar, and return back to the Curse Crossing there. And quickness of it cuts off quite a bit of time, of course. So we'll say it's roughly 10 p.m. or so when you get back. During that time, though, it'll be 30 minutes, 35, 40 minutes that they've been gone. Edgar and Donna, nothing. You just a slight breeze coming through. It's a beautiful moonlit night. Nothing else happens.
Okay. I will just have been frolicking.
Are you frolicking naked under the moon?
Yes.
She's a fae. She's the fae, everyone.
Till the others arrive, I will frolic.
Excellent.
Yep, they return. So the group is together with their horses and their equipment at the Curse Crossing by the captain's gravesite. What would y'all like to do from there?
Well, how are you all feeling about skirting the edge of that forest there? Just that stand of trees a little ways away.
Mm-hmm. Lead the way. I'm full of brisk energy now to frolic.
Yeah, so I will head out that way. You said there was a stand out there, right? A stand.
Yeah, if you keep going on past the main meadow, the main field with the little smaller area trees, you actually come to a little wood line itself.
Unless someone else objects, Edgar will bring up the rear of the column.
Oh, that's fine. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't object. I'll probably go second.
All right, yeah, I guess I'll be third then.
As I get near the woods, I'll start looking around for any tracks that I can see.
Yeah, as you dismount your horse and cross the little uneasy cold feeling or whatever you had earlier, you don't get it at all now. But do roll me a d6 as you're starting to look on the ground and look around the edge of the woods there.
It's a 4.
Yeah, you look for the longest, and you finally just, I guess, get frustrated, and you can't find anything there.
Perhaps I was mistaken. Maybe you were right, Stapleton. Maybe I have had a bit too much.
Well, too much, I guess, is a matter of opinion, but yeah, maybe.
Well, I apologize for leading us on this goose chase.
It's a lovely night. Nothing wrong with that. And besides, we might come across something yet, so.
That is true. That is true. Well, I think a bit more tippling, perhaps? Or are we done with our drinks for tonight? I could go for another cup or two.
And with that, Edgar produces a flask from inside one of his apparently 13 coats, because of how many layers these people wore back in the day, and says, "No need to get back to the tavern for that," and passes it over to Klaus.
And he will wave it off, and he says, "Do you have anything lighter, perhaps? My stomach and lungs can't handle that anymore."
Nope, that's what I got. Swig.
Well, perhaps next time you come across a nice ale, I will gladly imbibe with you.
Certainly.
How long would y'all want to stay out, not find anything cross at a wood line or nothing else that unsettles any of you? How long would y'all want to stay out there, knowing that tomorrow is probably going to be a long day, with the village itself and with having to keep an eye on things?
If he's not seen anything in terms of whether it's supernatural or merely torch and pitchfork wielding locals coming toward the gravesite, Edgar's he's going to head back to the tavern at some point. He's still not sold on anything happening this trip.
All right.
Yeah, Donna's going to go back, and she's actually going to retire to her room. She'll let the others know.
Orlando's going to head back as well, and he's going to join in on a card game that's gotten going, just for fun, of course. He'll sit.
I was going to say, unfortunately, though, when you get back, all of you get back, it's roughly 11 p.m. You find the tavern pretty much emptied, deserted, besides Victoria, besides Sharon, and one other girl that is working and serving there. There's a couple of the villagers left, but you see they've all dissipated and went home, since you would know most of them have to get up early the next day to tend their farms and their herds of sheep and such things. So it's pretty dead. There's only a couple of the villagers left.
All right, well, I'll put my cards away then. Slightly disappointed. I'll refill the flask I have as well before I head up to my own room.
I'll sit by the bar, talk up Victoria for a bit over a final glass of ale before retiring.
Yeah, and she tells you, Klaus, during the time all of you were gone, everything. She didn't hear any talk of any ruckus or any rough housing that's going to go on the next day. Everybody seemed to be pretty pleasant and pretty settled with things. She didn't hear anything that would alarm, or she wanted to let you know about it that would alarm you. And of course, you would know by the ordinance of the Baron that all establishments serving liquor have to close at midnight. So by then, of course, everybody's gone and leaving, and unless anything else anybody wanted to do, everybody would be to their room by midnight.
Yep, that's fine. Fine by me.
Oh, excuse me. Man, it feels like midnight to me right now. But yeah, y'all four get a pretty settled and very peaceful sleep, I would think. Even those that are affected by some thing going on from a past experience, you all get sleep. You wake up to the next morning to this wonderful smells of breakfast being cooked downstairs, and as you make your way down there to actually start the day of the anniversary of Hellburn's hanging, and you're served a wonderful breakfast. Of course, it's all in the house, being paid for by the organization itself. So during this day, is there anything anybody would want to do special during the day? You notice most of the villagers and the farmers, there's not many local villagers that come in that morning for breakfast because they're all out tending their farms and such.
I would think maybe Orlando would probably be one of the first ones up, as soldier. Navy man. He's used to rising early and everything. So he's sitting there eating his breakfast of piping hot vegetables. He's mixed some cornbread into it, and he's kind of thinking about everything that happened last night. And I guess they told him that Kloss kind of felt something eerie. And he's just sort of going over all that in his head, just trying to kind of figure it all out. Like, the big guy didn't cause any trouble, and but now two companions here have said that they have felt odd, and he's just trying to figure out if it's just their imagination or maybe if there's really anything going on. And I'm gonna say he's gonna talk to, like, I guess Victoria would still be there, or whoever is there tending the bar this morning. He's just going to kind of talk to whoever is there as he eats his breakfast, and just kind of ask some general questions, like ask if anything, if there's been any, like, kind of dark presence in town recently. Has anyone, been, has it been, maybe the weather, has it been odd or anything like that, Yeah,
you would be speaking to Victoria and also Sharon that owns the tavern, and they would be very truthful with any of y'all who you are. So they explain to you everything's been just business as usual, and they would also relate to you what was relayed to Kloss the night before about there wasn't any talk of anybody doing any hooligan stuff today, or everything seemed to be pretty much in order, just like any normal day.
He'll nod, and I'll say that kind of puts his mind at ease. He thinks maybe these other two just they're a bit jumpy right now, and he wants to try and enjoy himself. So he's gonna eat his breakfast and figure out if there's anything else he needs to do before the festival tonight.
All right.
Edgar is going to come down from his room, looking for breakfast, preferably the 3 food groups: ham, bacon, and sausage. If there happen to be any carbohydrates around, he might smell them. But other than that, he will sit with Orlando, order breakfast, and kind of bounce ideas off each other, similarly to what Orlando's been doing already.
Yeah, and you get the same, jibber jabber and the same talk from maybe a couple of the villagers are in there, and also you would hear from Victoria and Sharon. Pretty much the same thing. Everything seems to be business as usual. No talk of anything happening or has happened recently that would unsettle anybody. What about Donna?
Donna is basically just getting a feel for the room. She's a little concerned that Kloss had seen something last night, but so she's just kind of collecting her strength. and figuring out, what might happen. Is there? I think that she would want to go back to the site, but also she kind of wants to check on this guy that had a big mouth yesterday. So she's gonna kind of hang out and see if he shows up at the tavern for breakfast.
No, he does not show up that morning. Like I say, it's a very sparse crowd this morning, but nope, you do not see the large man known as Roderick.
All right. Well, after I have my my breakfast, I'll say to the group, perhaps we should pay a visit to Roderick and also make a patrol around the town to see if the farmers are indeed farming and not planning some mischief.
Well, I followed that chap back to his place last night. He definitely went into his cabin and began to sleep. I'm not quite sure what you expect to find from the farmers around here. I mean, nothing seemed to have been happening. I've been here for the past 2 years, I think. Something like that. Nothing ever happens.
Yeah, it's usually pretty quiet. I mean, except for what we do when we come to town to make it not quiet. But, yeah. In this case, it seems like the dead stays dead.
No, I tell you, you better be happy about that. Don't want the undead being you don't want the dead being undead.
Indeed.
Klaus is going to knock some silver balls out of the mold that he had cooking near the fire, so that he's going to start letting them cool and round them off a bit.
All right.
Make sure that he's going to just kind of test them to make sure that all the burrs are off it and could fit down the barrel properly. He goes, I'm up for a ride if anybody else is. I'll look about.
Yeah, it's a nice day. We'll see what's going on, see what the lay of the land is. Nothing happening here. So, I'm going to head out to my horse.
Yeah, it's roughly, we'll say, about 9 a.m. by the time y'all have breakfast and do some conversation, speak to the bartender and the tavern owner and all of that. What would y'all like to do first that morning?
As I walk out, I want to look around and see, is there any bells around, like any kind of warning system in case there were trouble?
That's a good question. You investigate that, and maybe also from talking to the constable farmer, your friend James, they don't have any kind of warning system. I mean, nothing ever happens here. So, yeah, they don't have any kind of notification bell to ring or anything at all.
Okay.
Who was that fellow again? The farmer. What was his name? Roderick? Roderick, right? Perhaps we should check in on him.
I agree.
Yeah, I guess Orlando would lead you out to the location since he followed him home. If that's
yeah, I would definitely take the lead and lead him out there.
You find him behind the little cabin where you listen to him snore fast asleep after you return home. You find behind that little cabin, you see a little barn, makeshift barn. It is in disrepair itself, and you see a pen and a trough and stuff, and you hear a bunch of and hogs and pigs running around. You see him come out of the side of the barn there and wearing these coveralls that are just covered in mud and muck, and with a wooden rake and stuff. You can tell he's been hard at work probably since daylight. He doesn't see y'all yet, of course. You're still on the main road.
I'll point them out to everyone, and then I want to fall behind a little bit.
Okay.
I'll ride up to Roderick. Say, good fellow.
It's too early in the morning for a drink, isn't it?
I wasn't asking you for a drink. I was asking, did you enjoy your meal last night?
Yeah, I ordered a plate of the house special, and man, I ate it so fast my stomach was rumbling, so I come on home and went to bed.
Very good. Very good. Hey, I was wondering, have you ever seen, heard any wolves or anything lately? Or has your livestock been okay?
He puts the prongs of his wooden hoe or whatever is shoveled down in the ground, and he kind of like he's leaning on it and thinking for just a moment. He goes, "Well, you know, one of my buddies that's a hunter. He told me here lately, yeah, there's been a lot of wolves moving around and stuff. Yeah, now that you say that, it's kind of caught us off guard."
You don't say. And did he happen to mention where he saw these wolves? They weren't encroaching on town, were they?
No, they's out in the forest out there, out past the crossroads, out that way.
Oh yeah, yes, yes. And have they seen them lately, or is that just in passing, just months ago, or?
That maybe 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, maybe.
Huh. What did you say that fellow's name was? This hunter friend of yours.
Oh yeah, his name's Billy.
Billy. Do you know where he normally runs around?
Well, Billy stays with whatever woman to take him in for the night.
I see. Yes. Well, that will be short-lived. Trust me.
Well, yeah, to be honest with you, he mostly just camps out in the forest. He's one of them, well, I always call him a hillbilly, but he camps out in that forest. That all he does is hunt and fish and stuff. So I don't see him but about once a month.
I see. He's off to the north, you say, in the woods.
Yeah, he was out in the woods there past the crossroads.
Is that over by the cemetery? I seem to recall a cemetery being to the north. Is it over there?
Well, it's way on past the cemetery. You probably go another mile past the cemetery. Yeah.
I see. Well, thank you, kind sir. I suppose you produce the best bacon in this county, right?
Did you have it at the tavern this morning, at bacon?
I did.
That's mine.
Oh, that's yours. Very good. Very good, sir. I should have to talk to you. Do you deliver?
Oh, I could, but you gonna be at the tavern tonight?
I could, but I was thinking of something more along the lines of when you're less busy or your season comes to an end. I don't know what a swine farmer does besides raise these things. You do have seasons, right? There's a butchering season.
I got some packed away though. I'll tell you what, before you leave town, I know y'all don't stay around long. You holler at me and I'll give you some packed down that you can take with you.
Yes, I will take a couple sides with me.
All right. Well, I'll see you at the tavern tonight for a drink.
Yep, that I will be there. Have a good day, sir.
I'll try to clean up a little bit, not smell so bad.
Oh, that's no problem. No problem. This nose doesn't smell too well anymore, so you're fine by me. Good day, sir.
Well, no wonder you get so close to Victoria. You can't smell her perfume.
Yes. Well, she does have a odor about her, doesn't she?
That stuff's too strong, too sweet smelling.
Yeah. Yes, not to my liking, but, to each his own.
All right, I got to get back to work. I'll see you tonight.
Yes, good day. I'll go back to the rest of the group or whoever was there with me and just say, seems to be some problems with wolves lately. Nothing too recent.
While he was talking, like kind of like I guess slightly retcon, but while Klaus was talking to him, would it have been okay if if Orlando had like kind of gone around the house a little bit and just sort of looked in the windows, like I don't want to try and be too obvious about it or anything, but while he has the farmer distracted, I just sort of want to walk around the house a little bit, looking in the windows, see if I see anything that strikes me as odd right off.
Yeah, roll me a d6. I mean, you're able to look in the windows. That's fine, but roll me a d6.
Okay. 5.
It's very sparse from what you can see in the windows. I mean, there's a table, a chair. You're able to see in one room that we call a bedroom. It just has the old wooden bed set up. I mean, it's very sparse furnishings, and there's nothing that appears to be off. I mean, the only type of weapon you see is it looks like an old musket. It's probably an old, early version of the first musket. It's sitting up against the corner of the bedroom, but there's nothing that catches off guard to you at all.
All right. I'll keep it to myself until we get out of earshot.
All right.
But once we get out of earshot, like I'll let them know.
What would be the plan for the group next after Klaus visits with his friend Roderick and gets a free slab of bacon?
Well, if we are, I mean, we're pretty much trying to pass the time until the anniversary is over. Edgar would be open to kind of riding around riding around Oakhill, and then also maybe seeing if there's any other farmers or shepherds out, anybody tending flocks or fields. Especially people he didn't see at the tavern the previous night or this morning, to get a feel for the attitude in the community before tonight.
Yeah, we'll cover that base real quick.
Okay.
You're able to do that, and you see most of the farmers and shepherds and stuff. They're just tending their farms, their flocks. They're putting up some hay, and then some of the other pig farmers are dealing with their pens and stuff. But yeah, you see nothing that seems unsettling to you, and nothing that comes across out of the way at all.
All right.
Anything special that Orlando or Donna would want to do, or Klaus?
No, I'm just I'm kind of patrolling as noted, but with Stapleton, if he's okay with me being there.
Certainly.
Just kind of spending the day. If we see anybody, wave to them. Kind of just see if we see anything off.
Yes, and I would also circle back around to the crossroads and the gravesite, and just make sure that we didn't look in the light of day and make sure we didn't miss anything the night before. See if anything looks different from the night before.
All right. What about Klaus?
Excuse me. Yeah, Klaus will probably hang out at the crossroads most of the day.
Yeah, the only thing that the group going to the crossroads, if you pass the local cemetery, which you have to pass on the way to the crossroads, you notice a group of women. They're out at the local cemetery that seem to be putting some type of flower arrangements and placing what appears to be a cross on some of the gravestones and stuff that you notice. Of course, we're doing it in a very honorable way as y'all pass there. Nothing out of the ordinary. And you set up at the crossroads. Nobody comes out there to to the side of the captain's hanging and gravesite, the day goes by pretty smooth as long as you stay out there. A few travelers come on, pass through the crossroads, and keep going, but going from village to village.
While it's daytime, Orlando will head out to the grave himself since he hasn't been there, and he wants to just walk around like on his feet on the grounds, and he'll be very careful where he steps, as he doesn't want to disturb the dead, so he's very cautious of where he steps, and he just wants to kind of look at the ground, examine it, make sure that there's no torn up patches anywhere, nothing that looks like fresh digging of any kind, anything like that.
No, the only thing you notice that they didn't notice the day before, you notice what appears just a few, which would be very late for this time of the year. You notice a few patches of grass that have come up. I mean, not super growed overnight, but just very small stubs of grass that appear to be growing where it's mostly thorns and stuff. But also roll me a d6.
Okay. 6.
Yeah, that's the only thing that really catches your eye. But there's a couple, just a small sprigs of green grass that have come up.
Okay, well, if there are things growing here, it's probably a good indication in my head that nothing undead has been walking around or trying to walk around. So, yeah.
These women that have come out there, the last couple of years I've been there, this is sort of the ritual.
Yeah, you would have noticed that there's always been a ritual of some of the town's women that go out to the cemetery just before the crossroads, that they're probably putting memorials on some of their ancestors that were killed by Hellburn and some of the bandits before. It's just you've noticed it before. It's not unusual.
Okay, doke. I'll clean my nails.
While you do that, Klaus, roll me another d6.
That is a 2.
That strong feeling and uneasiness that you had the day before, you don't feel it. I mean, maybe you just concentrate and look out towards the area on out to past where the forest begins, but you don't get that today. It's like nothing at all.
Okay.
You're very confident. Whatever it was yesterday is not there today.
Good. My reputation precedes me.
You'll be famous as James Bond one day.
Yes.
The vampire hunter. But yeah, the rest of the morning and midday or whatever goes smooth. I mean, there's nothing to indicate any unsettling from any of the villagers. And like I say, there's merchant wagons and things that pass through, or people just traveling from village to village and have to come through these crossroads and turn off and veer off another way. But nothing out of the ordinary at all as y'all sit up there on the side itself.
Well, if once midday comes and goes, Edgar's hungry again and says, well, it's time to swing back by the Oak Ax for some lunch. Does anybody want to go, or does anybody want me to bring them something back if you're going to stay here?
I'll go back with you.
Oh, you could bring me something back if you want. We have pretty similar taste, Stapleton. You kind of know what I like.
Absolutely. I'll bring you a care package of their best critter.
That sounds marvelous to me.
Blackened critter it is.
What about Orlando? Do you want to go back, or are you going to stay at the Curse Crossing? You're muted, Crystal.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know. So like, so just, I don't know. I don't know anything else I really want to do the day or anything. I kind of check the graveyard and all that.
Well, by virtue of having the coolest name in town, the Cursed Crossroads is, next to the Oak Ax might be the second best place to hang out, but fewer beverage options.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So I guess I'll just head back to the tavern whenever, or whatever.
All right, that's fine. Klaus, you're going to keep watch at the crossroads while they're gone, and nothing happens. Same things, people passing back and forth through the deals and going from village to village, but nothing else happens. You don't have any unsettling feeling as you maybe just glance towards the forest again. Everything seems to be fine. The rest of you go back, have a good lunch and stuff, and of course Victoria asked about Klaus, where Klaus is, and everything. And Sharon, she tells you, Edgar, to make sure that y'all come for the little memorial dinner that will be right at dark. And you would know every year they have like a little memorial service at the tavern and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't miss a meal at the Oak Ax, so especially the special ones.
But nothing happens. You don't give her any kind of news or intelligence talking to people at the tavern for lunch. There's a little bit bigger crowd there, but everything seems to be in order.
All right, in that case, we'll get a lunch special care package from Victoria for Klaus, and then head back to the Cursed Crossroads.
Yep. When you get back to the Cursed Crossing, Klaus, you open up your lunch package, and you notice there's a little piece of chocolate that has been shaped into a heart. And that's from your friend Victoria.
I will smile and say, I appear to have some chocolate here. Would any of you wish to have some?
Well, unfortunately, they were fresh out of actual beef hearts. That's what I was trying to bring you, so I guess...
Oh, this is from you?
No. I was just trying to bring you a beef heart.
I see. Well, this is appreciated. Thank you very much. Said, while you were at lunch, you heard nothing going on? Any mention of wolves?
Nothing of the sort. Just Sharon reminding us to come back for the memorial dinner for the anniversary at the tavern this evening, but that was it. No additional happenings or anything. It's been quiet. One of the quieter years.
Yeah, it's true. We don't even have drunks running around yet.
Really, it seems unusually subdued.
Well, let's hope it remains such.
Indeed.
What about Donna? Anything she want to do special during the rest of the afternoon?
No. She's going to wait at the crossroads with the rest until it gets close to the time of the celebration, and then I guess we'll head in.
Yeah, and it does. The rest of the afternoon goes very smoothly. You see some of the villagers are coming in. They probably live on further outside of Oakhill. They start coming in, and they're probably headed to the tavern the way they're dressed in finer clothes. And they're probably headed to the Oak Ax for the memorial services. Y'all make your way there also, and sure enough, it's a large crowd as you make your way in. Of course, every year this, and everyone seems to be dressed in more finer clothes. And The crowd seems a lot more subdued this year. I mean, there's never been any hail raisings to speak of, but it seems everything's just, this is more thinking about the generations of people lost to these bandits and Hellburn's axe and things. But everything's going very smooth as your wonderful dinners served. You have your drinks. Orlando, you can have your card game or dice games with some of the people, and they actually throw a copper or silver in tonight. And it's got dark outside, and no one's seen Roderick. You haven't seen him come in at all. And about this time, the door burst open, and it like it did the night before when Roderick come bursting in. But as the door burst open, you're looking at a very young villager. He's dressed in what seems to be pretty fine clothing himself, who's about 18 or 19. His eyes are real wide, and then he's like, there's this eerie fog rolling in. You can't see much at all. It's going to be a foggy one out there tonight. It scares me.
How close are we to the sea?
To the sea, there's no water or sea anywhere close.
Stapleton turns to the newly arrived villager and says, "An eerie fog? Have you ever known of a cheery fog? They're all eerie. It's fog."
Wait, I know, but it scares me. You know what the night is.
So Edgar pushes back from the table where he's seated, and stands up and walks over the door to take a look out and see what he sees.
You do. You go to the door, which is still open. When you come on in, he just left the door standing wide open, and you go and peer out, and sure enough, it's fog is just dissipating around, and it seems to be just getting thicker and thicker, where visibility is going down to probably 20, 30 feet is all you can see out into it right now.
Like rapidly, it's rolling in as I'm watching it.
Yeah, a lot of it seems to be rolling in as you're watching it, and going on down the street itself and on past where you are.
I will certainly alert the rest of the crew. Come take a look.
Donna will.
Oh, sorry.
I like my chances.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say Orlando will go because he's a sailor and all, so he's seen all kinds of fogs. So he wants to go and see if this fog is in any way unusual to fogs he has seen before.
Yeah, I mean, with him being experienced in fogs and stuff, I mean, this is probably a very thick, heavy fog, but he's probably been in them before, where visibility starts just dissipating down to where a hand's length out from you. But same thing, about 20, 30 feet out is all you can see, gain visibility. You can just see it's rolling on in and past y'all, but you get no feeling of anything weird about it right now.
Yeah, Orlando will just start laughing and say, you lads are all paranoid. I've been in thicker fog than this before. Come in, come on then back in. Have a drink.
I agree, fog is fog, but this seems to move a bit strangely.
Is this a single floor building?
Yep, it is a single floor building, correct?
Okay. Are there any two-story buildings in the town?
No, it's very sparse buildings, and they're all single.
Okay. I turn to the party and say, I suggest we make our way to the roof. Then I will walk outside and look for some means to get to the roof, like a ladder or something. I could lean, like a bench I can lean against or something, walk up.
Yeah, there would be a wooden ladder that it was used to get on the roofs to remove debris and stuff from them, or clean them off during the fall and winter. But yeah, you can find a ladder if you wanted to do that.
Yep, I want to get up on the roof. Fog generally stays low. I want to see if I can see above the fog.
Anyone else climbing the roof?
Nah. Orlando just kind of, shrugs it off. He's seen fog before. He's just going to go back to his card game.
Stapleton's interest is peaked at this point, so he'll go up on the roof.
All right. What about old Klaus?
Klaus is going to walk over to the bar, lay a pistol on it, and kind of slide it in Victoria's direction. He said, in case you need this. And he takes a last slug out of his ale glass and says, I'm going to check out this eerie fog. And he'll go to the doorway.
Yeah, you and Orlando are standing in the doorway or just outside the doorway, I guess, as you're watching your other two companions get to the rooftop. And Donna, you and Edgar, as y'all get to the rooftop, it's the same thickness. I mean, it seems the fog is risen quite a bit higher than any visibility you can see. It's the same type of fog on ground level as it is 20 foot up on the rooftop.
Oh. Well, that's quite peculiar.
Stranger and stranger.
I must stay on the roof for a little bit. I want to see if we see.
Right.
I mean, we can't see far, but maybe I can see something.
And I will call down to Orlando and Klaus and let them know that the fog is thicker and the bank seems to be taller than usual.
Listen to these landlubbers. They just unusual fog. Like, I've seen this so many times. You can't see your hand, 5 feet from your face. They'll just kind of laugh with the others as they play cards.
Miss Belladonna, do you sense anything besides just the eeriness of this?
I'm going to stand on the roof and close my eyes and think about how I was frolicking yesterday and see if I can get any sense of any unclean spirits.
Yeah, you can do that, and nothing at all here. The fog. Of course, you've got your eyes closed, but I mean, the fog is still around all of y'all, and nothing at all.
I report that back. No, there are no unclean spirits here. Could be witchcraft, because that's the one hunter we don't have.
That would be the case, wouldn't it?
Most likely, yeah.
We must remember to requisition one next time.
Exactly.
The fog seems to be settling in pretty good now after 10, 15 minutes pass of this procedure, but seems to be it's settling in and seems like it's going to be staying, you would think. The visibility is probably still the 20 feet, 30 feet in front of you that you can see.
I'm going to go down and get my horse.
Yeah, I'm going to climb down from the roof since can't see much up here. And but about what time is it now?
It's roughly about, we'll say about 7 p.m. It's probably been dark roughly an hour now.
How are the anniversary festivities progressing? Have we been through the most important part?
Oh yeah. I mean, everybody's just kind of relaxing and enjoying the card and dice games and BSing there inside the tavern.
Yeah, in that case, I would agree. I would go with Edgar. Would go with Klaus and get his mount ready.
As you two head to the stable, which would be north, you have to go north to go to the Curse Crossing. The stable also is along that path inside the village, heading north. As you two make your way there and following where the stable is, you hear sounds of a horse coming from the north. And as it does, you see breaking through the fog, you see this horse and rider come through. And it's another young villager, probably in his late teens or early 20s. He's out of breath and he's out of air, and his horse is labored. He goes, the dead have risen from the cemetery. They tried to get me. And you see the sleeve of one of his arms has been cut, and there's a slight trickle of blood running down his white sleeve shirt. Only Klaus and Edgar are seeing this right now.
So, well, get yourself to the tavern. That's where everyone else is.
Yes, relay what you just told us to them.
He jumps off his horse and shoos it into the stable. He doesn't even check on it. He takes off running towards the tavern. Donna, you and Orlando standing there. You see this figure run out of the fog, running towards the tavern. A young man wearing pretty fine clothing, but it's part of his shirt's been ripped, and you see the blood trickling down part of his arm as he's running, very scared and wide-eyed, running towards y'all.
I'm inside, aren't I?
I'm on the roof still, so I'm just going to call down. Young man, where are you off to in such a rush? The fog makes it dangerous travel.
They told me to come to the tavern. These two gentlemen I just spoke to. The dead are walking. They're alive. And he takes off running inside the tavern.
Oh. That's a bother. I'll come down the ladder.
Yeah, standing just inside the doorway, Orlando, is the way I had it. You were standing there, but you hear and see this probably standing closer to the doorway as the man runs in.
All right. Hearing this, Orlando will sigh. He'll go, had a good hand, too. Well, he stands up and sort of, gets himself ready and says, I suggest you all barricade all the doors and windows. And then he'll just calmly walk out the tavern.
All right. During this time, you see Donna has come down from the ladder herself and is standing there as you two meet. And your other two companions went to the stable.
Perhaps we should join the others?
Quickly as possible. Of course, dead don't move too fast, so,
Well, the incorporeal dead move very quick.
I'll kill the body and I'll let you kill the spirits. How about that?
Sounds good to me. We'll walk towards the stable.
Yeah, you find Klaus and Edgar mounting up horses and their equipment, as far as I would think, as you go to the stables, and you can get your equipment and your horses if you would like.
Yeah. I will do that. My guess, gentlemen, is that this is just some drunkards and not actually the dead. So,
yes. Yeah, it's very common on this anniversary for there to be claims of dead rising and monsters chomping on farmers and other villagers, but usually it's just too much drink.
Well, they better hope that it isn't, that it's not. They better, if it is a joke, they better hope that I'm not around when they reveal the prank. I do not take undead to be a laughing matter.
I'm sure it's just frivolities.
I mount up and start heading.
Did he say they were at the cemetery? Is that what he said?
I believe that's where they started. They're most likely heading in this direction.
Yes. Well, to the cemetery.
You mount your horses and continue north on the road into the fog. It stays pretty much the same. We've got 20 or 30-foot visibility in front of you and around you. You finally make your way to the edge of the cemetery there. And, you can peer into the 20, 30 foot into the entrance of the cemetery. It seems quiet. You don't hear anything moving. You don't hear any sound or anything coming at all.
No lights or anything in the distance that we can make out through the fog. It's just thick fog everywhere.
Yep, just thick fog. No, you don't see any kind of lantern lights or any torch lights or anything at all anywhere.
Speaking of, if he hadn't already, Edgar'd be lighting his lantern. Most likely would have already done it, but his person in the here and now forgot to mention that. So, so he has a lantern now, lit on his lit, and he is on horseback as well.
Yep, that works perfect.
Not that it'll do much good in this fog, but it's illuminating nonetheless.
Yeah, and there's some illumination, of course, coming from the full moon tonight. But, of course, the fog is blocking going in and out, blocking part of the illumination a bit also. But there is some of that coming off. But, yeah, your lantern light will definitely help you up close range. Does anybody want to proceed on into the cemetery, or do you want to proceed somewhere else, or what would y'all like to do?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to proceed into the cemetery. I'm going to take out my sword in one hand, though, and my gun in the other.
You proceed into the cemetery leading the way, Orlando, and you see a couple of mounds of dirt that seem to be earth and dirt and stuff that has been pushed up. As you make your way over there, you see a couple of the headstones, and you know they're pretty old. You see open graves. You see the rotted caskets in the graves themselves that the tops have been just pushed and broken out by some force. There's nothing in the caskets. You find two of these open graves like that.
Can I attempt to like track prey or something? Like look around the ground for some foot drag marks, or
You can do that.
Roll a d6.
Yep, d6.
All right. I rolled a 4.
You pick up on tracks just at first, and they seem to be leading out of the cemetery back to the road. But as you get to the roadway itself, all the tracks kind of become jumbled up between your company's tracks and other people through the day. But you can definitely tell they led from the cemetery out to the roadway itself.
It seems that perhaps this was no joke. These tracks here. Do they look like zombie tracks?
You can tell the way the tracks have shuffled out that, it's somebody that walks very slow or stumbling along. It's not a normal gait.
These tracks here. They scream zombie to me, gents.
Well, why would the buried villagers want to hurt the living villagers?
And do the tracks lead out toward the village, or do they lead out toward the crossing?
I tell you what, everybody roll me a d6 except Orlando. Everybody else, if you get a 1 or 2, let me know.
I guess.
I got a 5.
4.
Oh man, yeah. You lose the tracks there in the roadway as far as what direction they go from there. if they go back south towards the village or if they continue on north back to the coast crossing.
Well, if they were
And,
headed
and also, Daniel, just to let you know, I may have misunderstood what you said a second ago. In case I did, I'm sorry. But just to let you know, there are actual burial sites in this cemetery that were some of the bandits from the original bandits too. If you
Oh, okay. I thought that they were all just the good villagers.
no, it's a mixture of villagers and some of the bandits that served under Hellburn, and probably some of the bandits from the group he killed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that are we closer currently to the village or to the crossroads?
Roughly the same. It's kind of like a halfway mark, really. I mean, it would probably be a little closer to the village, maybe 2 or 3 minutes. But of course, with the fog, you don't know. But I mean, it's pretty much a halfway point.
All right. Yeah, I think we got to split up, which is always a smart thing to do.
Right. Well, it looks like we need a pair to go back and make sure the village is secure, and some other brave souls to head out toward the crossing.
I'll go to the crossroads.
So shall I.
Okay.
All right, crossroads. We're going to have Donna and Orlando. Into the village, it sounds like Klaus and Edgar. Is that correct?
Yes, just long enough to see if there's any shambling horrors heading back toward the tavern and such. If everything looks clear, I would like to head back out toward the graveyard and then the crossing.
All right.
Yes, that we fire a shot if we need the others to join.
That's a good idea.
Under
Not
my
one,
Shoot the undead.
not one of your fancy silver shot there, Klaus.
Yes. Oh, okay.
well, you might
Well,
need
that first shot is always the most expensive one. You know?
I'll take care. I'll take care of the signal shot from our end.
Very well.
All
I'm
right,
going to start out going back to the village first with Edgar and Klaus. You make your way back to the village. You don't meet anything on the road or see anything. You may stop and look for tracks of these shambling figures that have been reported, but you don't see anything. You make your way back to the village. The tavern is closed up. I mean, you see that and hear the voices of everybody inside, you know, and you look around, search. You don't find anything. We jump back to Donna, Orlando, as you make your way to the crossroads, the Cursed Crossing. As you come up on the Cursed Crossing on horseback and start seeing and looking through the area, you see these two humanoid figures that are standing over in the area of where you know that the captain, Hellburn, was buried. They're just standing there.
Who was it you said we saw? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
You see two humanoid figures that are standing there.
All right, I'm gonna ride over towards them, sorta. Like I'm gonna stay far enough back that if I shoot them, I can have like a +1 or whatever to my pistol shot. Like I want to say just in range of being able to shoot them really well. And I'll say, who goes there?
Yeah, you would know your pistol has 20-foot range at normal, no bonuses at all. If you shoot past 20, it would be at a negative. But yeah, you can get up to 20 foot with your pistol that you would know is the range on it. As you do that and right up there, Donna, are you going to be next to her, behind her, or what?
I'm going to pull my rifle out and level it. I'll stay back a little bit further with the rifle trained on the possible criminals.
As you move up there, Orlando, and you say that, you hear mumbling as these two figures turn to you. And the first thing that comes across your mind of you being a hunter, the restless dead, the zombies, the tingle goes through you. First, I need you to make me a saving throw, though.
Okay. 18.
Yep, you're able to wash anything over you as you see and know that these two figures sitting there looking at you are what you hunt. They are your chosen prey as they start shambling towards you. And you can tell the way they're dressed. They appear to be wearing scraps and rags and maybe some type of old armor and stuff and carrying all these rusted. One of them has a rusted hand axe. You know, everyone appears to be some type of rusted sword as they start making their way to you.
All right. Yeah, I'm not even gonna give them the chance. I'm just gonna go ahead and whichever one's closest to me, I'm gonna fire off a shot directly at their head, and I get a +1 for being in close range, right?
Nope, you don't get any pluses on a firearm. It's just straight. Besides anything you'll have, you get your regular bonuses, but you don't get any extra just for a firearm, though.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, like I'm in within close range, right? So I get a +1 for that.
No,
There's no close range in white bucks.
Yeah, I mean, you just get you would get your to hit bonus plus this is your chosen prey. If you hit, you would do damage on damage too.
Oh, okay. I thought from being in close range, I got an extra to hit.
Not on a firearm, though.
All right. Well, that's still a +4 because of my bonus and my chosen prey. So that's a total of 17.
Oh yeah, that's going to hit them. Your shot makes contact. So be sure and add your to hit bonus to the damage also, Vince.
Okay. My to hit and my prey are just one of those.
Yeah, I mean, you add since it's your chosen prey, you would add your +2 to the damage roll also.
Right, but not the hit bonus.
Right. Yeah. There's no two. Yeah. In that case, your 2 hit bonus for your ability score, unless it was strength.
Yeah.
You just get that. You just get
hit
that
bonus on me. That's what confused me.
Well, I'm
okay,
sorry. I'm sorry if I did. I meant your plate. I meant your plate standard plus to hit bonus. That's what I was trying to.
Yeah. So that's a total of 4 damage to that dead.
Your pistol goes off, and tell me however it strikes this thing that it falls to the ground.
1 second. Let me roll to make sure it didn't misfire.
Yep, roll D10. You're right.
I rolled a 6.
Yep, it works fine. So how do you finish this thing off?
Yeah. So I just as soon as he turns around, I just go chip chip cheerio, and I pull the trigger, and it just right through the just bullet right through the eyes out the other side. And it's like one of those movie moments where it's just like blows out the head, and it's just like you can see like through the hole. You can see me with my smoking gun standing there. And then I'm gonna kind of like turn my gun around so I can use it as a club as this other one is headed towards me.
Yep, and it just falls, straight down. You see this, Donna, if you want to take a shot at the other one real quick before we go into initiative and anything else that may transpire.
Yeah, I have my rifle leveled, so I will shoot at the one that did not die.
All right.
With a 10 on the die, and I only have a +2 to hit, so 12.
You see your shot take good aim. You think at first maybe you missed it, but you did hit it.
Did. All right, cool. Let me see if the misfired. I guess I should have done that. 6, so no. And the rifle is a D6 +1. So now I roll a 1. So 2 points.
Yep, 2 points of damage. You see the shot hit him in some of the old armor and clothing or whatever it's wearing, just poofs and falls off. And it starts stumbling, but it gets back up and it keeps approaching. So what we're going to do is just roll initiative. So Donna Orlando, a D6. If you have a Dex mod, you can add that to your roll.
I rolled a 6.
I rolled a 6 as well.
All right, that's good, man.
Would be nice for damage.
All right. Donna, you and Orlando are both on 6. So your guns are empty. Klaus, to jump back to Klaus and Edgar in a minute in the village, you hear the 2 gunshots go off. Do y'all want to immediately head back to the crossroads?
Definitely.
Yeah, that would be my plan as well.
All right. Yeah, you know it's going to take you some time, but y'all can make haste as much as you can to get there. As we go back to that scene of Donna and Orlando, your guns are empty, and one of these figures is still stumbling towards you, Orlando.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and attack with my melee weapons. That's a total of 19 to hit.
Oh yeah,
and a total of 7 damage. No, plus I get 7. Yeah.
What do you do to this thing to eviscerate it now?
Yeah, I just kind of walk up to it and stab it up into the through its under its rib cage, and as it kind of like looks sort of shocked that it's been impaled, I take that big gun, that gun that I'm using as a club, and just hit him in the jaw, and his jaw just just turns around and snaps his neck, and I just pull my sword out.
All right.
And
you see this happen, Donna?
Yeah, I'm just gonna reload my gun. There was only 2 of them, right? So.
Yep.
Yeah, I put my weapon on my my lap, and then I reach to my side and pull out my powder bar, and I start reloading it.
Yeah, and as soon as I kill this undead, if I have time, I'll also reload my gun.
Yep, you're starting to reload your gun. We jump to you, Donna, where you're several feet back from Orlando on foot down there, attacking and taking out and finishing these 2 zombie bandits. And you hear it for just a moment as you look up, Donna, and you see a horse come out of the fog. A dark black horse with piercing red eyes, the froth and stuff that's coming out of its nostrils, the air. You see a chain-mailed figure sitting on top of the horse, holding this very large axe in one hand. But what catches the most about this figure is it is headless. There's no head on this figure as it runs straight at you. So first, I need you to make me a saving throw.
Okay. 13.
Yep, that's a pass.
Yep.
You are caught in a moment of fear for just a second as you see this, not expecting it, and you're able to catch yourself out of this. Make me a 3d6 on dex, though, also.
Okay. 4, 9, 13. I fail.
You drop your musket on the ground, falls out of your hands as you're trying to reload it, as this figure comes and rides, and he's got this big, huge axe that nobody else could handle with one hand as he just swings this axe straight towards you. And that is going to hit. You will take 6 points of damage as Hellburn the Headless is back to claim his territory.
Okay. Ouch.
Both zombies are on the ground.
So
Orlando. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Was that the same round that Orlando killed the zombie? Or was that the next round?
Yeah, that was the round y'all just did. Y'all both had 6s.
So then all right. So I was only checking. So the gun's not loaded because I was starting to load it and I dropped it.
Correct. It's not loaded. Correct.
Okay. Perfect.
The 2 zombies are on the ground dead. As we jump back to you, Donna and Orlando, as you see this Orlando, this figure that's been described on this horse, much like that picture, except he's holding this huge axe. As he just swung and bit into your companion with that axe and rides back as he's encircling and making another round to come back at one of you. But Donna and Orlando, you 2 are up.
Okay. So I'm gonna put out a small axe.
Do we ro-
Do you want? Go ahead.
I was just wondering if we roll initiative. Are we on the same initiative?
No.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same deal.
Okay, all right.
It's just one time roll for this.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I wanted to just know about initiative, but you already seem to have something planned. So go ahead.
Well, no, I'm gonna pull my hand axe from my side, and I'm gonna say, "It's not the size of the axe." And then I'm gonna charge this thing and try to chop him with my axe.
As you charge this thing, Donna, and for say that and prepare it, as you look at maybe at the horse just a moment, you get the tingling feeling, and you know that this horse is some type of incorporeal creature itself. So if you attack the horse, it would be falling under your ghost hunter. If you do decide to attack it at any time, you would know that it is some type of ghost form this horse is.
Oh, interesting. But
Just for information. The rider,
is not.
Orlando, you know that this rider is nothing but a pitiful, pitiful, evil, restless dead himself. So if you attack the rider, Orlando, you get the bonuses. But yep, you head towards. You're going to swing at the rider.
Yeah, I mean, I'll swing it. If I can make the change, I'll hit the horse then.
Yeah, whichever one. You that's why I wanted to let y'all know that. So whichever one you want to get.
I charge and swing at the horse.
All right, sounds good.
That would be a total of. Oh, and I get +2 extra, right? So that's 16 total.
Yep, that hits him.
Okay, and then my damage, I get that extra +2. So, 3 + 1 from my strength is 4 + 2 is 6. 6 points of damage to the horse.
You see smoke and the red eyes, that you see the smoke boil out of the nostrils and the mouth of this horse, as you can tell that whatever you just did to it did some damage to it for sure. And if Hellburn would have a head on him, he would be looking at you right now with nothing but devil eyes also. But being headless, he doesn't do that. Orlando, what would you like to do? Orlando, run away, right?
Yeah, sorry. Okay, so I know the person is actually incorporeal, right? I mean, not incorporeal, undead, right? The actual person is?
You know that Hellburn himself is some form of undead, correct?
Okay, if I'm not getting any kind of tingle from that horse...
Nope.
It's really kind of a hard decision because it would be much easier to take him. Yeah, I figure it's going to be much easier to take him, like, if he's not on the horse. Is he focused specifically on Donna right now, does it seem?
With him being headless, you have no idea what he's focused on. He is closest to Donna, though, of course, because Donna just struck him.
Okay. Yeah, all right. I'm gonna attempt to run over there and yeah, I guess I'll just attempt to if I can make it to him in time, I'm gonna attempt to just chop the head of this horse. I mean, because I feel like my character would feel like it'd be easier to take him if he weren't on this big old horse.
All right.
All right, so I'm gonna run. I get like a 12 to hit. No, I get 12. 14 to hit because of my hit bonus.
It will hit the horse.
It does, or
it does, yes.
Okay. So I hit him for 4 points of damage.
Yeah, and you see more of the breath and stuff come out of it, and it seems to be in a labored state as you do some more damage to this horse itself. Hellburn on his horse focuses on you again, Donna, and not paying attention to what's on the ground in front of him as he swings this axe towards you again. He is going to hit you right on the money with a 13.
Oosh.
So you will take 4 points of damage this time as the axe slides into you.
All right, I'm quite hurt.
We were back up to, speaking of you, we're back up to you, Donna and Orlando. So I guess, Donna, if you want to go since you did first before, it's fine by me.
Yeah, I'm going to go at the horse again. Makes the most sense. With the exact same roll, 16. So that hits, right? Because it hit last time.
Yep, that hits the horse, yep.
And the same damage as well, 6. That's so weird. It's exact same.
You see the horse stumble down on his paws on the ground, and you see the horse just turn into fog and dissipate out. Hellburn is standing there on the ground right in front of you, Orlando. The horse has just disappeared and dissipated and turned into fog itself at this point.
Okay. Awesome. Then I'll say, you think Headless is impressive. Just wait till I take those legs from you before I swing at him. Total of 15 to hit.
The 15 will miss Hellburn.
Oh, wow. All right.
As you swing and trying to hit him in the head, you remember he doesn't have one. You just barely miss him, though.
Okay.
Hellburn. This time, I guess you said something to upset him, Orlando, as he takes this big axe and swings it at you this time. 18 on the die will definitely hit. You'll take 5 points of damage as this axe swings into you. We go up to the next round. Donna, Orlando, Hellburn, you're all sitting there on the ground involved in this, I guess. Or no, Donna, you're still on your horse, aren't you? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm on my horse, and if possible, if I think I can do it without getting attacked, I'm actually going to back away from where the combat's happening and look for my gun on the ground.
Yeah, he's got his focus right now, you would think, on Orlando by that last swing. So you would think you'd be able to go in and try to find your rifle if you want to do that this round.
Yeah, like I'll either jump off my horse, putting it between myself and him, and look for the rifle on the ground. Let's say that's all I'll do. All
right. Orlando, you see your companion. Maybe you don't know exactly what they're doing, but you see them scrambling to do something at this point. You're standing there next to Hellburn. You're by yourself.
Yeah, I'm kind of just focused on Hellburn. I'm sure that they're doing, whatever they're doing is probably important. Even if I can't figure out what it is right now. Could I do a quick search on this guy? I want to quickly see if he has some kind of pistol or gun on him.
No, all you see is him holding this axe. You don't see any kind of weapons on him at all.
All right. Okay. Then I'll continue to fight him. We'll continue to have an epic melee battle with swords, and I got a natural 1.
Oh, no. Okay. Yeah, nothing happens, unfortunate to you. It was unfortunate enough to meet Hellburn himself, so yeah, you just miss.
Yeah.
So Hellburn looks towards you again, Orlando, as being the only target around him, as you start to lean down and pick up your sword that you dropped. He's going to hit you with a 14 to hit, but enough ducking down that you're able to only take 2 points of damage this time.
All right, cool.
We go back for just a moment to another scene of Edgar and Klaus making their way hastily back towards at least the cemetery or back towards the crossroads, not knowing what's going on. Y'all get back to the area of the cemetery there, Klaus, Edgar. You see 2 figures standing in the road as you're riding hastily. You're about to run into them with your horses.
I'll slow up.
Same.
As you slow up, you see these 2 figures, what used to be living humans, as they both are some type of undead that have walked out from the cemetery. One of them's holding a spear, one of them's holding a sword, blocking the roadway in front of you. So if y'all want to roll initiative, I'll get y'all into a little deal here. Just a D6. If you got a Dex mod, let me know. You can add it.
4.
All right.
I have a 4 as well.
All right. These two figures had a 5. They spend their time moving this round towards you two. They're coming up on y'all on your horses there, as you can see them closer and see the death reeking off of them. So it is up to Klaus and Edgar as these two figures have approached y'all.
I will. Oh, wait a minute. Well, if I'm on horseback, I'm going to draw my longsword and run one of them down with my horse and take a swing at him.
Sounds good. Just roll me to hit. Be just y'all don't get any bonuses because y'all don't have, unfortunately, the undead.
And I got a grand total of a 6. Woohoo! 5 plus 1 for strength, so I missed.
Well, you sliced some fog, though. You did do that. What about Klaus? What would you like to do?
Same thing, and I rolled a 8.
Yep, you slice more fog. You had a little bit too much drink before you come out tonight.
Woohoo!
So we go back to the Hellburn crossing, as we're going to call it now. Donna, you're looking for your rifle. You're able to find it.
Okay, since it's not loaded, I'm going to load it this round. I'm going to back away a little bit and load it, try to stay out of the combat. So
you can do that?
Heavily.
And you're able to still stay in the visible range of the 20 or 30 foot that you can still see your companion, and you can also see Hellburn standing there, of course, as you're reloading your rifle. Orlando, what would you like to do?
I'll continue the epic melee fight
All right.
with this guy. And, god damn it, 8 to hit.
Yep, that unfortunately slices some fog there. It's a crossing.
Yeah.
Hellburn has got no target right now but Orlando, so he swings his axe with a 15. But wow, something about the way you hit that fog blocked his non-eye vision, where you only take 1 point of damage this time.
All right.
We jump back to the cemetery as these two zombie bandits swing. One of them swings at you, Klaus. One of them will swing at you, Edgar. Oh my gosh, they both rolled 2s, so they miss y'all. So Klaus and Edgar, what would y'all like to do?
To get my winter box clothes.
I smash.
All right.
That's a 16.
Oh yeah, you make good contact this time.
4 points.
Tell me how you finished the zombie holding the spear off then.
Basically just ride through and lean over and plug this axe right in the middle of his forehead, cleaving him in two.
Yep.
Kind of pop
That
him like a
bandit-
walnut.
That bandit will not rise again, hopefully. What about the one in front of you, Edgar?
Same thing. He's going to wheel around and make another pass with his longsword. And this time he gets a 15 plus 1, 16.
Oh yeah, you make good contact. How much damage?
Let's see. That's longsword is 1d6, correct?
Yep, 1d6.
Okay. Oh, total of 6 damage, 5 plus 1.
Perfect. Tell me how you finish yours off then.
He comes around with a mounted cavalry charge as good as the previous one was bad, and leans over similarly to what Klaus did. It's almost like they were trained to do this, and then cleaves the zombie with the sword from one shoulder to the opposite kidney.
Oh, perfect. And that sounds like to me, hopefully 2 more zombie bandits will never rise again, we hope. Do y'all want to continue getting and heading towards the crossroads? Nothing else you see or hear nothing else where you're at right now?
Yeah, head on toward the crossroad for sure.
All right, perfect. We jump back to the crossroads. Donna, you got your rifle reloaded.
I'm going to blast this thing. So I level my rifle.
I hope so. I hope y'all are able to hit him.
So that's a 16 plus 2.
Yep, that hits him.
All right, and so the rifle, so it does a d6 plus 1.
Yep.
So 4 points with the rifle.
All righty. You do some damage to him and see, part of it flutter off of him. Orlando, you see the hit strike him, but he still seems to be standing fairly strong.
All right. All right, I'm going to continue my epic melee against him. Oh, nice. This time I get a 21 to hit, something like that.
Yep, bring it on. Tell me how much damage.
And only 4 points of damage.
All right.
Yeah, but I'll say, I see, I've been trying to be light-footed around him because I'm used to fighting pirates and such, but now I see that this guy is just, a big muscular target, and so this time I feel like I have to get in close. So I just get in as close as I can and bring my sword, swipe out and get his stomach.
Yeah, you slice in, you see some worms and things fall out of his stomach, being the undead he is, and things boiling out of his stomach that a normal living creature would have as he swings the axe at you now. And a 17 to hit. Man, you looked at it again. 2 points. 2 points of damage. Did you get it, Crystal,
Epic
too?
battle. Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
We're having an epic battle, epic melee battle.
And we're back to you, Donna.
I'm going to reload.
All right. Orlando, up to you then.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking about the other guys for some reason. Okay, so I'm going to continue my attack against them. 14 to hit. I think that's a miss, right?
Yep,
No, wait. No, I'm sorry. 16. I always forget my to hit bonus. 16 to hit.
You take swipe at him and think that you missed him, but you did make contact with 16.
Oh, nice. And that's four more points of damage.
Okay, perfect. You take some more out of him as he swings the axe towards you, though, because you're the only target he knows at this point, with Donna being a ways off. Oh, man, he hit you right on the money with a 12. You'll take 6 points of damage this time. Those axe caved into you pretty good.
All right. He hits me really good with that one. And, I kind of, buckle a little bit, but I rise up. I rise up again, I'm not quite dead. But I look like I'm hanging on by a thread.
All right, and remember, since this is your favorite enemy, you're allowed to go to -3 before you go down.
That's right. Okay.
We're back to you, Donna. As you you hear some hoofbeats coming from the distance in the fog. Hopefully they're getting closer.
Okay, so not knowing what that is, but wanting to make sure that we eliminate this guy, I'm going to take 2 steps forward and fire my gun.
All right.
I'm going to say, die, you evil beast. 16, which hit last time,
Yep,
right?
16 will hit. That's what you need at 16.
Here we go. Come on. 3 points.
Yep, you take some more out of him, but he still seems to be standing there. Orlando, you see this shot hit him, and you see it, affect him some, but he still seems to be standing there holding his axe.
All right, I'm gonna try and jump in and hit him before he can react. 18 to hit.
Yep.
And I do 6 points of damage.
All right, that's some good damage on him. You see him, his feet kind of shuffle a little bit, but he still seems to be standing as he swings his axe at you now. True, a 19. And you'll take 6 points of damage again.
All right. He slams that axe into me, and he slams it down into my shoulder. And as he pulls it back out, like blood just starts running down, just really fast. And I fall back onto the ground and land and hit a tombstone. And I shake my head as I say, "Such a good hand," and then I die.
What are you at?
-5.
Well, unfortunately, something else happens in just a moment as Hellburn knocks you out. Donna, you see your friend knocked to the ground and seems to be unconscious, not moving.
Okay. I'm reloading. I'm slowly walking back and reloading.
Yeah, as you're doing that, you see Hellburn walk up to Orlando.
Oh, crap.
He takes the axe. He brings down in one mighty swipe as the axe goes and beheads Orlando. You see the head come off of Orlando. Orlando, roll me a d6.
Two.
Orlando's body, headless himself now, stands back up and is just standing there. You see, Donna, as you're loading your rifle, you see Hellburn reach down, pick up the head of Orlando, and he starts walking back towards what you would think would be the area of his grave. As you see the headless body of Orlando just standing there now, standing straight and rigid, like at attention, like a soldier would be.
Okay. Well, as grotesque as that is, and I want to help Orlando find peace, I don't want this guy walking out with his head, so I'm going to blast him with the rifle.
All right.
Come on, baby. Ooh, 20. That hits.
All right. Man, I don't have one of my charts.
Oh, we're doing crits?
I tell you what, roll your damage and we'll see what I'm...
Okay. 5. 4 plus 1.
5 damage, okay. You see your shot made contact with the back of Hellburn as he starts stumbling. Now roll me a d6.
Okay. Now I roll a 6.
You see the head of Orlando that he drops it and it starts rolling away from him into the fog as he starts walking off into the fog. But you see actually him drop the head of Orlando and it's kind of rolling along into the fog there. Orlando's body, of course, is still standing straight and rigid, straight up.
Okay. Is he walking towards the head into the fog, or did the fog head go in another direction?
You see now, no, it went in another direction, and you see, with it being his turn now, you see him is come back out of the fog, and it seems like he's looking and walking, trying to find the head of Orlando at this point, as it's back up to you now.
All right, I am going to run like heck and try to get the head.
Perfect. I tell you what, just roll me a dex. You can do 3d6 on your dex.
Okay. I'm not that dexy, but let's see. 4, 6. I might actually make it. 11. That's exactly my dex. 11.
You get to okay. I'll tell you what. This is, since you got exactly. This is what happens. You run as you see Hellburn searching for the head himself. You run past him, and you see the head of Orlando laying there. As you reach down to grab it, but you feel his presence right behind you.
Okay.
As you reach, and you're going to reach and grab it, though, correct?
Yeah, I'm going to grab the head.
Yeah, he's going to try to grab you with his axe as you do that. Oh man, he rolled a natural 1. Wow, he swings his axe as small as you are in length and body. As you go, you just you're nothing but fog. Go through the axe head. Whew. We jump back over to Edgar and Klaus. You come riding up, and you see the body, the headless body that you would know the way he's dressed. Of course, you would know it is your friend Orlando. I need both of y'all to make me saving throws as you ride up onto the cursed crossing this round.
I missed.
Yep. If you fail your save, add one more point of corruption to your deal, as you see the headless body of Orlando standing there rigid. You also see your friend, scrunched down real low on the ground. Seems like she's holding something as you see this other headless figure with this huge axe that just swung at her. And I'll keep y'all on initiative 4, so y'all can act in this round if you would like to do something.
I will draw my pistol and fire at the headless figure threatening Donna.
Alrighty. Y'all need a 16 to hit if you didn't hear about earlier.
Okay. And now with a firearm, well, it wouldn't matter in that case. Okay.
Yeah, if you're going to shoot your gun, you can roll a D10 just to make sure you don't misfire.
I got a 9.
Yep, if it goes off perfect, man.
Woohoo!
Prime just right.
And I got a natural 20. Yay!
Yep, that hits him. So yeah, we'll see what happens special as you roll your damage for me.
And pistol is just D6, right? 1D6.
Yep, a D6 for pistol, right?
All right, I got a 3.
Your shot goes into the back of Hellburn. He has no idea y'all have arrived on the scene. As he's standing there just swinging that axe at Donna. Your shot goes into him. He stumbles down on the ground himself, holding the axe. And he's sitting there almost, if he had a head, he would be looking you in the eye at this point, Donna. Klaus, what would you like to do?
I'm going to ride down the Axeman.
You're going to attack him, ride a horse and attack him melee, you say?
Yep.
All right. Sounds good to me.
It's a 17.
17 hits him.
4 points.
What do you do in the right way that you see Hellburn go down to the ground and he's not moving now?
What do I do?
Yeah, what do you do to cause this?
Oh, basically I just come through with a underhand cut and kind of slice up into the back of his shoulder, trying to lop the arm off with the axe.
Yeah, and you see his body fall, his headless body fall to the ground. As he does, Orlando, roll me a d6 again.
All right. 2.
Orlando is still standing there, calm, his body just standing there in a rigid, soldiered position. Donna, you're closest, of course, to Hellburn. You see your friend ride up and save the day, Klaus, and you don't see Hellburn moving at all. His body is still laid out. Is it actually back up to you, Donna, if you want to do something?
Yeah, I'm going to pull out a flask of oil and pour it over him, and I'm going to light him up on fire.
Now you're talking. Yeah.
You can do that.
Yeah, I'm burning the body.
Absolutely.
Nothing. The body is set on fire. As it is, Orlando, roll me another d6.
He was raised distant for the last 2 years.
1.
All right. Orlando's.
That's why you're
Okay, let's see. Klaus, you and Edgar roll me a d6 too.
But now he's gone.
I got a 4.
Yep.
All right, Klaus.
Also a 4.
You don't see this, not paying attention to the headless body of your companion Orlando. As Orlando, you charge Klaus and attack him so you can have an attack.
All right. Nat 1.
Klaus, you hear and feel the as you're able to get out of the way. And you see the headless body of Orlando standing there on top of you trying to attack you.
On top of me? Okay.
Yep. He has moved up and tried to swing at you. What would you like to do?
I will return. That's a 6.
You are scared out of your wits as you miss him. Edgar, you're able to hear this after this happens. Or is there anything you would like to do as you see this happen?
Yeah, I will turn. I'm still on. I fired from horseback. I'm going to turn and try to run down the newly headless Orlando with my longsword.
All right.
So I roll and get a 12.
A 12 will hit Orlando, exactly.
Oh, in that case, I got a 4 for damage.
Roll me a d6, Orlando.
Okay. 2.
You see as you strike into Orlando, you don't see any blood come out of his body. But you see him go back into this rigid, soldiered position as he's just standing there calmly now. We go back to you, Donna. You're still burning Hellburn the Headless, correct?
Yeah. Did I notice that Orlando moved?
Yeah. I would. Well, I'll tell you what. Roll me a d6. You're doing that. Let's see if you would have noticed what was going on.
I got a 2.
Oh yeah, you noticed it for sure, then.
Okay. In that case, I say, "I'm sorry, my friend," and I put his head, which I have in my hand, on the burning corpse, and I pour more oil on it. So I'm burning his head.
As you do that, and it starts taking the oil and stuff starts taking it and burning, Hellburn's body is burning itself, and you see the worms and the things start crawling out of the body of this undead body. And as you pour the oil on the head of Orlando, and you see it take flame, you see the body of Orlando just fall over on the ground. It is not moving now.
It's getting hot in here.
Everything seems to be pretty still and quiet at this point.
I'm just gonna yell out, "Burn the body!" And I'm gonna keep an eye on this one.
I will. Edgar will pull. He's got two pints of oil. He'll pull one out and pour it on Orlando's body, and flint and steel, and have a nice little bonfire.
Yep, you're able to do that, and the body starts burning. It doesn't try to get back up.
Yay! No offense, Orlando, but yay!
But yeah, that's what happens as y'all do that, and it seems to be that hopefully there won't be another year coming back to watch this. Hopefully whatever you've done this year is taken care of the man known as the Captain Hellburn the Headless. And unfortunately, your brave companion known as Orlando gave his life, and more than his life, it would appear, to try to defend Donna. But as you make your way back to the village, explain to him what happened and what goes on, and clean up the scene, it's customary, Joe, you probably don't know this, customary in my games, at the end of our games, I always allow everybody to tell me how the story ends for them, and then I tell you how the story really ends. So I'm going to start out with you, Joe. Tell me, after you clean up this mess and get this mission kind of finished, and you go back, of course, and spend the next day in the village before you go back to your regular life, how does the story end for Edgar?
Well, he's been an infernal creature hunter now for several years. Some rumors prove true, and some don't. And of course, this is the first time that Hellburn the Headless had proven true. So he goes back to the order and continues his work, but he's not been quite the same since then, because this is the first time he's actually had to set one of his fellow monster hunters' corpses on fire after it attacked another fellow monster hunter. So he's even less charismatic than he was before. Serious about his work, but withdrawing more into it.
Right. Sounds good to me. Orlando the Headless. Does Orlando have any last thoughts as the head was removed from his body and what his afterlife holds?
As far as general wrap up, he probably had some thing with the order where, if he died, they would send his captain a note explaining his, that he wouldn't be returning and everything, And so they probably all mourn him on the ship, his loss. But as far as the last thing that we can know of Orlando, we go back to the night with all the thick, airy fog all around the cavern, or around the tavern, as there's laughter and joking inside. Orlando playing fog card poker with his friends, having a good time. He picks up his hand and he fans it out. 10 of spades, jack of spades, queen of spades, king of spades, ace of spades. And just as the chill runs down his spine from seeing this, a young boy shouts to Donna on the roof, "The undead! They're in the graveyard! They're roaming around!" Orlando puts down his hand and gets up, telling everyone to barricade the doors. It was such a good damn hand.
Yeah, perfect. Donna. How will the story end for Donna after coming to maybe close death herself?
So Donna is, quite injured after this encounter, and she's definitely seen the specter of death, and she heavily supervises the recovery of the ashes of Orlando to make sure they're put in hallowed ground. And then she goes back to her work in the city, still kind of haunted by the tingling that she had, where she thought she felt an unclean spirit, but still didn't find. And she plans on, even though the order is not sending people back after this, she still puts on her calendar to visit the crossing once a year to pay respects to her friend and to make sure that no unclean spirits are released.
Sounds good to me. Last but not least, Klaus. How would the story end for Klaus?
Well, after Klaus has made arrangements for special treatment of Orlando, as well as any supernatural stuff like packing the body in salt and garlic and making sure that it's blessed, he will end up over at the Oak Ax and talking with Victoria, and says, "Well, you know what I'm going to ask." He says, "Can I ever get you away from this place?" And she just looks at him and continues to wipe the glass. And he goes, "Very well." He said, "I'll be back sometime." Then he walks to the door and takes off his hat and turns around and looks at her and he says, "You know, it's never werewolves." And she just laughs and smiles and says, "I know. You've killed them all."
Perfect. Before I tell you how the story really ends, though, this adventure was played using White Box Gothic by James Michael Spahn in a world that I've created of my own for a Gothic setting, agents that work for an organization called the Defenders from Twilight. The adventure itself was taken from a deal I got off RPG Now called A Halloween Horror Encounter, The Terror of Herod, the Headless Horseman. And of course, I modified it to fit my own world and my own encounters the way I wanted, but that's the basis of the adventure. Now, let me tell you how the story really ends. The next day after this tragedy at the Cursed Crossing, the two sprigs of grass that were seen that come up, both of them wither away and die as it goes back to the area of sparse grass and thorns growing there. Nothing is alive there anymore, it appears. The rains wash away the blood and stuff of Hellburn, or not really Hellburn since he didn't have any blood, but the viscera that come from him and the blood spilled from Orlando's body. But we jump back to that same night that all this occurred, the full moon night of the fog. The gentleman known as Roderick, who made friends with Klaus, he was not seen that night at the tavern for the ceremony, the memorial service. He wasn't seen anywhere. He was deep in the woods. And this is what you see at the, or hear. You hear him, man, look, Billy, I know. Yeah, I know, man. I had to tell them that you're a hunter, but they're not going to find you out here. Look, man, and hey, you know tonight I got to chain you up, right? Man, it'll be okay, Billy. Just, man, look, Billy, you and I have been friends a long time. You have me do this every month. It's going to be okay. They're not going to find you, I promise. You hear clinking and rattling of chains as you see this very slim human, the friend Billy, as he's chained to a tree with this heavy chain and lock. You see Roderick. I'll see you tomorrow, man. Roderick leaves. You see the transformation of Billy as he starts growling and screaming, and the body transform into what Klaus would know is a lycanthrope, a werewolf. But fortunately, he has been chained again this month by his friend Roderick and is unable to do any harm to any animal, any creature, or any human stranded on the road late at night. The grave of Hellburn the Headless is still, it is quiet. The graveyard is covered back up the best it can be by the local villagers. The next year comes. Donna goes and does her memorial tribute to her friend Orlando, who gave his life to save hers. It's quiet, it's peaceful. That is the end of the adventure known, Oh Captain, My Captain.